good to be back, man. Good to be back on the
Been
no
a hot
agenda.
minute.
I know it's been a little too long, man. We both been a little bit busy.
Yeah,
Had a lot of things kind of going on. I mean,
indeed.
I'm unfortunately clean shaven. It makes me feel like I'm 12 again. So,
Yeah,
uh, yeah. I mean, how
yeah.
you been, man?
I've been all right. Been doing good. Just been busy. You look
Yeah.
like the poster child for the fucking Dahmer fucking Wall of Fame.
Well, I can't say it within the first 5 minutes, but I'm gonna kind of chill. I was tempted to say something. I was really tempted. But I'm gonna be a nice guy. All right.
But you're a beautiful son of a bearded or non-bearded, so it doth not matter.
That's true. That's true. I mean, listen. So I have to ask.
Yes,
We got the Stanley Cup playoffs coming in. Are you planning on watching all these games?
a lot of them. Yeah,
Yeah.
I of course Avs Dallas is the primary,
What's going on, Penny? Oh,
and the other two series that I have probably the most interest in are St. Louis and Winnipeg,
really?
and then Toronto and Ottawa. Yeah,
So I'll throw it up here on the screen. This is the brackets. Let me kind of bump that down. So this is the brackets, and we'll obviously go into our picks and we'll go into a series analysis. But let's just kind of give a whole thing. Start with we'll go from left to right here. Western Conference. We got the Winnipeg Jets facing the St. Louis Blues. All right.
hmm
Then we got the Dallas Stars against Colorado. That should be a really fun series, in my personal
yeah.
opinion. We got the Vegas Golden Knights against Minnesota. I mean, I guess like beating up the orphans.
I,
Los
I
Angeles.
I'm gonna respectfully disagree.
Okay, all right. We'll get into it.
Yeah,
Los Angeles Kings versus the Edmonton Oilers, a rematch of last few seasons, so that should be
like
interesting.
nine years in a
I
row.
know, I know. Then the Eastern Conference, we got Toronto versus Ottawa, the Battle of Canada. So there's a lot of stakes, a lot of bragging rights on the line there. Will the Leafs be able to get into the second round again after? It was just interesting talking points. We had the Battle of Florida, Tampa Bay versus the Florida Panthers.
Oh, fuck Florida.
We got Washington versus the Montreal Canadiens, and Carolina versus New Jersey, two teams that no one cares about.
Yeah,
So, I, I'm
you're
just,
not wrong.
I'm not
Not
wrong.
wrong.
I mean, they're fans, they have passionate fan bases, but I mean, outside of those areas, no one cares about them.
Yeah.
So, let's, where do you want to start? In the Eastern Conference or the Western
We'll
Conference?
start east, sir.
All right, we'll start in the East. All right, I'll put this down. So we got the Toronto Maple Leafs against the Ottawa Senators.
Yes,
And
sir.
the interesting thing for me with this series, this should be a no doubter for the Maple Leafs, right?
I actually think Ottawa's going to win this series.
Ooh. Okay. Expand on that. Expand on that.
Well, it just it first of all, I mean, you're going to laugh when you hear me say this, but it's fucking Toronto.
Fair enough.
They will find new and inventive ways to spit the bit.
You're not wrong. And I
I
kind of hate
mean,
you because you're not wrong.
yeah. Well, because and at the very least, I could see this going no less than six, probably 7 games.
So, genuine question here.
Yeah.
Why do you not believe in this Toronto Maple Leafs team? Is it the core four that's been around that's just shown they haven't had the ability to really go too far?
Yeah.
Is it the goaltending? Is it the defense? Like genuinely, like what do you think is the one thing that has you lack of belief, or is it just the history behind the lack of success within the last half a decade or so? Like what stands
Well,
out to you the most?
primarily it's I don't think they have the goaltending. I
Really?
truly don't. No. I
You don't believe in Stolarz? He had like a 920
no.
plus save percentage this year.
Yeah, but I mean, what's he done when it's really meant something?
I mean, he has one game of NHL playoff experience in relief to Bobrovsky where he got cooked.
Yeah.
So it's kind of yeah. I mean, you bring up a fair point. He has a lack of playoff experience. That's a
I
fair
mean,
point.
he's an untested commodity, and I just if I'm Toronto, that would scare the ever living hell out of me.
Yeah.
because all he's got to do is get rattled, and you know, good night, Irene.
Yeah. Uh,
Um, and I really, if I had to use a analogy, Toronto's a glass cannon. Yeah,
yeah.
they've got all this high powered offense, great, but when it comes right down to it, they can't win when it matters.
Yeah. It's a random sidebar. I had some Pat Laffy leave a comment. I just deleted him from the channel. Um, kind of funny. I'm like, by the way, guys, if you're gonna talk shit or whatever, I don't care. See ya. I'll boot your bitch ass. I don't give a flying fuck. When it comes down to
The the hammer,
I don't
Paulie the
care.
hammer,
It's like
love it.
I like when people chirp when they have no avatar, no picture of their own face. I'm like, you're gonna talk about my looks. What are you? I don't really care. Anyways, but yeah, as for Toronto, when it comes down to it, and this is where it gets interesting for me, is will they finally be able to kind of get over the hump here? Because I do believe defensively this is the best version we've seen of the Leafs.
Mm-hmm.
I think
Absolutely.
the additions of Brandon Carlo, you bring in Tanev, you have OEL there now who had very good years. I like those moves. I think this is the best decor that core four has had. I think
Yeah.
Stolarz has played really well. If this is a year they're actually going to go deep and represent the Eastern Conference, or at least get to the Eastern Conference Finals, I think this would be the year. But it's it will be interesting against Ottawa because I think that will be a tough matchup. You got
Yeah.
Stutzla, you have Brady Kachuk,
Mm-hmm.
you have Sanderson, you have
Sanderson.
Chikrin, and
Yeah.
yep, and Chikrin.
No, no
You have
Chikrin. Chikrin's
oh,
with
Washington. Sorry.
yeah.
He was there. I'm sorry. But you have talent there on Senators.
Yeah.
It's the one question mark I have with them is Olmark. Olmark has had not much playoff success actually. He has a sub 900 save percentage in the playoffs, and is were your concerns with the lack of success with Stolar, or should say lack of experience? Are you worried about Olmark's lack of production in the playoffs as well?
If I got to be honest, Hunter, yeah, absolutely, Hunty P. Um, but I don't know. I just don't have any faith in Toronto being able to pull it off.
It's funny because you're picking the Senators, I'm picking the Maple Leafs because I think they will. I think this is the best version of their team. I could see in a scenario Omar just being kind of pissed off with how things went last year with in the off season
Yeah,
and really getting riled up. Like, okay, I'll show you guys
yeah.
and show what I can really do. Omar has the capability to become a brick wall. It's just I
Yeah.
got to see it in the playoffs. You know.
You're from Missouri. You got to show me.
Yeah, exactly. And burned oils. The only thing the Bruins are going to possibly win is the draft lottery. Not sure asks. Corvo and probably McCarlo and Lawton were great pickups. They have a good tandem in net. What's their record since the trade deadline? I don't know off the top of my head. That's actually a very good question.
Yeah.
Let me kind of pop that in. So, what do you think is going to be the big? So, you think goaltending is going to be the deciding factor in this series?
I really do. I think that Olmark is going to play with a big old chip on his shoulder.
Oh, Toronto is. No, that's an old one. I was going to say that's. Hold on a second. I'll kind of tell you here in a second. When was the trade deadline? What day?
It was it March 9th? No, it was earlier than that.
Yeah, hold on. Well, what's this record say? Well, at least since January 1st are 29, 13, and 2. So they've been playing good hockey just since the began. Yeah, I mean, the Leafs have been playing very well. Very, very well. Not sure says I like Toronto.
That's fair. I mean, it's really kind of. I mean, I know the money is on Toronto, and rightfully so.
Right.
I got a feeling.
Got a feeling.
I think Olmark is gonna be mad. Like they picked the kid over me. I mean, not like he's that much older, but
Yeah, I mean, I could see that. And, kind of looking at, I'll even bring it up here on screen if I can, please, maybe. Looking at the Senators, I mean, they got some like Batherson, 68 points, Sanderson from the points, 57, Kachuk, 55 points in 72 games played, Giroux, 50. They got some solid production.
hmm
Olmark's had a good year.
yeah,
It's where it's going to get interesting for me with the Maple Leafs is like, will they be able to keep up with the Maple Leafs offensive production? Because like the Leafs have, I mean,
if they
this
can,
might this pains me to say as a Bruins fan, right? But as a trio, they have probably the best triplet up front in the league, right? I mean, Marner 102, William Nylander. I love William Nylander. He's got that gutsy attitude. 84 points in 82
hmm
games played. Matthews 78 points in 67 games played. I mean, that guy's electric. John Tavares is still a point per game player at this age, so he's still really effective. Matthew Nyes has come along. It's gonna come down to me, at least in my personal opinion, um, the stars showing up for the Maple Leafs,
yeah,
and it's interesting because I think sometimes those players get a bad rap for not producing in the playoffs. Some of them have been kind of, I would say, overly ridiculed for that. When you look at the statistics they have produced, but I do think it's time. Like if the Leafs are gonna actually do anything,
it's
they
got to
got
be
to do.
now.
It's got to be now. It's got to be that situation.
I'm the way I look at it. If the Leafs don't score at least 3 to 4 goals a game, they're going to lose. They can't win. They won't win 2-1 games, 1-0 games. I
That's
just
where
don't see that. I don't
that's
see
where
it
we'll
happening.
differ. That's where we'll differ. I think Stolars has the potential to be that guy, and then they have Joseph Wall to fall back on, who it's 7 games or so, but it's like a 933 save percentage in the playoffs. So it's like I don't know.
It's
And I'm wearing Bruins gear saying this. I'm just be very clear here.
yeah.
I'm trying. I definitely don't have a bias,
No.
but
I just I don't know. I don't. It just I think they've got because once you get past that first line, I mean they've got Tavares, Knives, however you say his name.
yeah,
Who's Knives has had a very nice season for them.
yeah,
Very nice. And he's gritty too. I just think that they're going to need depth scoring to win.
yeah, 100%, 100%. All right. Well, so in this bracket, you're picking Ottawa. I'm picking Toronto.
Yep.
How many games for Ottawa?
And it's going to take 7. If 6 if they're lucky, but I would say it's going to go the full boat. 7.
Yeah, I think I picked Maple Leafs in 6. That's what I think I picked. Or did I pick 7? I don't know. It all blends together. But
Yeah.
six games. I'll go with the Leafs. All right. So let's go into. We'll go down the chain in the Eastern Conference. The Tampa Bay Lightning versus the Florida Panthers. Now, I think this is a team that in Tampa have had a great season. They
Yeah.
lead the NHL playoff standings in goal differential, like plus 72. They're fantastic. It's kind of crazy. Like they've had they've had a really 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 good year, but nobody really talks about them.
No.
They either talk about the Maple Leafs or the Florida Panthers, but they don't talk about the Tampa Bay Lightning, which could be a good thing for the Lightning because they kind of come into this, even though they're the higher seed, maybe with a little bit of an underdog mentality. And they face off against Florida Panthers, the defending Stanley Cup champions. Big question mark for them would be Matthew Tkachuk.
Yep.
Not sure exactly where he's at. So, looking at this series, how do you think it's going to shake out?
Well, if it goes any less than 6, I would be shocked.
Yeah.
Because obviously the bad blood has ratcheted up over the season.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the Panthers did add Marchand,
Mm-hmm.
which this might draw the ire of some folks, but I think he's not going to really be a factor. He has not been much of a factor up to the point in his arrival. Granted, he was hurt for the first 2-3 weeks he was there.
Yeah.
Who knows? He might all of a sudden just decide, it's playoff time, flip the switch, and goes back to the Marchand of 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah.
I don't really see that happening.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to say Tampa in 7 because of the Kachuk factor. I, if my honest opinion, I don't think you're going to get many scores that are more like 3-2,
Yeah.
2-1. I think this is going to be a low scoring series. You might get one anomaly of 5-4, 6-4, something like that.
Right.
But I think most of these games, you're gonna. I mean, when you're 2 minutes left in the third, you're still going to have somebody only down a goal. Empty net, trying to tie it up.
It's to me, it's going to be like, I think this will be the best series out of the Eastern Conference in the first round by
Oh,
far,
hands
because
down.
Florida and Tampa are both heavyweights going at it.
Mm-hmm.
I think Marchand will be impactful. Do I think he's going to be turn back the clock and turn into prime Brad Marchand? No, no. And I've talked about that when they dealt him. Like, we're not dealing vintage Marchand, who was just all over the place, had the speed and the agility. Like, he's lost a step or two, right? That's expected. But I think Marchand on a third line with like a Lundell or Sarainen brings out a nice little secondary scoring depth that most teams would love to have. It does hinge to me like it'll be interesting. Let's say the Panthers hypothetically go up 2-0. I actually think that they'll keep Matthew Tkachuk out as long as they possibly can. But I do envision Tkachuk coming into this series, and I imagine it going 7. A lot of people are picking Tampa now. I'm going to stick with the Florida Panthers because I do believe in their depth. I think their decor, especially with Ekblad coming back after Game 2, he'll be there for Game 3 and onwards. That's going to be a big boost. Florida is still a very big team to play against. They're essentially the Vegas of the East. And, Tampa Bay's got elite level superstars. I mean, like Kucherov had 121 points this season. He's been tremendous. Braden Point had another 40 goal year. There's a lot to like with the Lightning as well. It's not like they have no secondary scoring either. But I just like the build of this Florida Panthers team. I wouldn't be surprised, though, if the Lightning win it either, because Vasilevsky's had a great year.
Mm-hmm.
Bob's kind of had an okay year, but when you look at the film, it's not like Bob's letting up a bunch of atrocious goals. A lot of it's just like very dangerous scoring opportunities. So I do believe it's going to go 7. It's going to be a knock 'em out, drag 'em out fight. I just believe that the Panthers will be able to pull it off. But would I be overly shocked if the Lightning win it? No, because this is going to be. I think this is going to be a fantastic series to watch.
I think this is the best matchup in the Eastern Conference.
Yeah, I think for the first round, absolutely.
Yeah,
the first round, absolutely. Yeah, and that's the scary part there, not sure. Like, Vasilevsky is starting to look like himself again. And if you're a team in the Eastern Conference, that is not something you want to hear. Because after the back surgery, there was genuine, like, will he be able to return to form? That was a genuine question.
Yeah.
Like, would he be able to be Vasilevsky again? And he's proven all the doubters wrong. And it's kind of cool to see. And I don't think this Lightning team is as deep as some of those dynasty teams, like where they had Hedman, Sergachev, like I know they brought McDonough back, but they had like so much talent on the back end and up front. But they're still so damn good, and I
Mhm.
wouldn't be surprised if they come out of the East.
Mm-mm.
I think whoever wins this series will most likely come out of the Eastern Conference. Would you
I
agree with
won't go
that?
that far. I won't go that far.
Won't go that far. Okay, I will.
I'll
I'll
say
take.
I'll say whoever comes out of this was definitely making the Eastern Conference Finals.
Okay, all right. I respect it. I respect it. Anything you want to add before we go to the next one?
No, I think we're good.
All right. So put this banner down. We got the Washington Capitals against, or I should say, the Washington Ovechkins versus the Montreal Canadiens.
Yeah,
What do you think about this matchup? Do you think that the Washington Capitals could have one of these historic breakdowns like the Bruins did?
that
Hold on.
you took the words exactly out of my mouth.
Really?
Oh yeah, I mean, as good as they've been up to this year, through the year,
Mm-hmm.
this this just seems like they are just ripe to be taken by. I mean, I'm not going to say that they're not hungry because they are. They're in the playoffs,
Yeah.
but there's something about those filthy effing Canadians that I don't know. I would not want to play them in the first round.
They've played good down the stretch here, the
Yeah.
Habs. And they've played very good down the stretch. Demidov, he has 2 games of experience. He's looked really good. He's been flashing.
Oh, I listened to that first game. Good Lord.
Yeah.
That kid was everywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, second shift he had an assist. By the fifth shift he had his goal. And I was listening to the radio broadcast of it.
Mm.
I could barely hear the announcers and how loud Bell Center was. It
Yeah.
was ridiculous.
With Demidov, too, in that draft, if you recall, he was considered like the best talent by some. But
Mm-hmm.
they slipped in the draft because of the whole what's going on in Russia.
KHL. Yeah.
Right. But, to me, the Habs have been brilliant. I mean, Suzuki's had an amazing year. Same thing with Cole Caulfield, a very good
Mm-hmm.
year.
Lane
So I've
Hudson.
Lane Hudson as a rookie, 60 plus
Yeah.
points on the back end as a rookie. That's fucking
Just give
bonkers.
him just give him the Calder now. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
that's
I mean,
agreed. Agreed.
Dustin Wolf had a great year, but Judas Priest. I mean,
And Celebrini had one too, but like this is Lane Hudson helped propel the Canadiens
yeah,
back to
to the playoffs.
playoffs.
Yeah.
And you
He
can't say that about either of the other guys. And that's not to
no.
knock them. I'm just being honest.
Yeah. And you're not wrong in any of that. That kid just holy smokes, he's kind of what they've been needing for the past 15 or 20 years.
Yeah, an amazing. He's such a good skater. Like his edge work is like beautiful. It's a lot of
Mm-hmm.
fun to watch. And I've been saying about I have said this. I've been on the record, and you know this, for the past year or two, that the Canadians have a lot of prospects in their system, and
Yeah.
they're going to be a good team for years to come.
Yeah.
And
Because
we better get used to them being a playoff team.
I mean Nick Suzuki's still pretty young. Caulfield's a
Caulfield,
baby.
yeah,
Slavkovsky. Remember how didn't but a few months ago how we were kind of saying how Slavkovsky was kind of meh.
yeah, and then
I wonder if he listened to the podcast and got pissed.
I mean, listen, we'll take full credit.
Yeah,
Montreal Canadiens, we accept checks here at the No Agenda Hockey Podcast. Make
yeah,
sure to send that to our address. But no, it's been nice, honestly. And
yeah.
Montembeau, since the Four Nations tournament, he
Been
didn't play in
good.
it. He's been great.
Yeah,
He's been making saves I didn't know he could make.
yeah,
Uh, and it makes the conversation there a little bit more interesting with Fowler, who's currently with he played with Boston College this year, who's considered a very very blue chip prospect, like a very very high end goalie. Dobich has played really well since being called up from Laval at the HL level, and then you got
mm-hmm.
Montembeau. I mean, he really found his game,
Yeah.
and I think that's a mixture of being in the Four Nations and also probably getting pushed by Dobich a little bit. But yeah, I mean, the one question mark I have, and I like Gooley, I like Hudson, I like some of the younger guys there. Defensively with the Canadiens, they're the only team, if I'm going to just make sure and fact check myself here, I think they're the only team with a negative goal differential coming into this playoffs. So I do kind of wonder, are they going to be efficient enough defensively to keep up? Yeah, let me look. Yeah, they're minus 20 goal differential, and I mean that's not the end of the world. No, the Wild's minus 11, so they're not the only, but they are the worst team when it comes to
Yeah.
goal differential. Kind of going into the Capitals side of things, they've had a great year.
Yeah.
They got PLD, who is a locker room cancer, and they shipped off, and that trade worked for both parties. The LA Kings got a good
Yeah.
goaltender,
Mm-hmm.
and the Capitals got the center they really needed.
Yep.
Capitals have Strome, they have PLD. I mean, Wilson's had a good year.
Tom
I mean,
Wilson's had a great year.
yeah,
I
he's a
mean,
great year.
I mean, maybe the best year of his career up to this point.
You could have that in the conversation. I'd have to really kind of look at it, but
I
I
would
think
too, but it just well, I want to say it's been his best year. Less dumb stuff, more production.
yeah. I mean, and then you have Protas, young player, 66 points,
He's
and
fantastic.
you know what,
He is
Alex?
really good.
Yeah, he's good, and he's going to be good for like he's going to help propel
Yeah.
that team to stay relevant. I think the Capitals have enough juice here that they're not just the problem I've had with the Capitals over the years is they just single handedly relied on Ovechkin for too much.
Mm-hmm.
And they've done a good job, that front office, of infusing some youth and some talent around him so you can kind of get the best version of him.
Yeah.
And that's a
And
guy we have to talk about, right?
who?
Ovechkin. I
Oh
mean,
yeah.
dude,
The
65 games
ageless
played.
wonder.
65 games played, he scored 44 goals. If
With a
he didn't get hurt, he
yeah,
would have had another 50 goal season.
easy. Maybe even I mean, and the way he was rolling, I mean, he might have been flirting with 55, 60.
Yeah. I mean, he's been good. Is he prime Ovechkin, like hustling, hitting everything that moves? No, right? He doesn't. You get older. I mean, Father Time is undefeated in that regard,
Yeah.
but
But
I've liked what I've seen from the guy. Really,
yeah.
genuinely, I think he's been really, really good.
I'll have to, when we get done with the previews, I'll tell you I'm in a knockout pool. And I'll tell you the name of one of my teams and you're gonna laugh.
Oh, by the way, you are right. This is a career year for Tom Wilson, who has 65
Yeah.
points. Career year.
Yeah. And
So,
just less silliness and more good hockey.
100%. Uh,
And
so
Chikrin has been playing great.
he
Just want
has
to throw that in there.
he got signed to a deal, right? So
Yeah.
it's I don't know. Yeah, that's for whatever reason I slipped into the Washington Capitals like mindset we were talking. John Carlson has 51 points. Like they have guys on the back end like
Yeah.
Carlson 51, Chikrin 47, Sandin 30.
And and Carlson's 35. He's no spring chicken either.
Yeah,
He put up 51 points as one of the elder statesmen probably of the, I mean, not the oldest dude on the team because, Ovi's kind of got that locked down.
right.
But
But
yeah, and Logan Thompson and Lindgren,
yeah,
good in goal.
yeah. Like Thompson's gonna be the guy. Lindgren's
Yeah.
definitely the backup. Like Thompson is the guy they signed. They signed him for a good market value, especially with the cap going up this upcoming offseason.
Mm-hmm.
And he's looked good. Now he's cooled off as the season progressed because he was one of the best goalies in the NHL for a bit. He's not bad, mind you, but he's cooled off a little bit. But Thompson, I mean, he's got all the motivation in the world to prove the Vegas Golden Knights wrong. Like, oh, you traded the wrong guy.
Yeah.
So, I think saying that it's. I'll say my prediction. I think the Capitals will win this. I think I said maybe I'll say six. Actually, I'll say six for this. I think the Capitals win in 6 games. I think they're a deeper team defensively. Offensively, I think they're better and deeper. And goaltending, Montembeault has improved, but I think goaltending, I still kind of give the edge to the Capitals a little bit. I'm not necessarily the biggest Montembeault believer. But yeah, so I just envision with the depth that they have up front and on the back end, the Capitals won't fall like the Bruins did a couple seasons ago. But what do you think?
You're right that the better forwards, better defense, better goalie. But I don't know. I have a feeling that I think Montreal in 7, as much as it pains me to say this, because you know how much I loathe them, I think they're going to shock the world.
It would be insane, and it would be great for Habs fans, honestly, because they like say after that bubble, like where Carey Price like had that one last gasp to try to win a cup, and they ultimately didn't win it. They lost to the Lightning in the bubble.
Mm-hmm.
but that would be fantastic for
Yeah.
Canadian
I just,
fans.
I just, I don't know. I've got this gut feeling that I don't think. I think Washington is gonna pull a Bruins against the Panthers 3 years ago
Let's hope not. Let's hope not for their sake, because definitely makes you question your life after that
or
happens.
2 years ago. I'm sorry.
So
Yeah,
we'll go into the last Eastern Conference one before we get into the West. The Carolina Hurricanes against the New Jersey Devils.
the Rip Van Winkle first round special, the snooze fest. Sorry, there is zero juice in this series for me. It's, I mean, everybody in New Jersey's hurt. Um,
Carolina just,
just doesn't have any oomph.
they had oomph for like about. They had oomph when they had Natchez, and they got rid of him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
They had oomph when they had Rantanen for like 5 games.
even though he didn't
It,
really produce.
yeah, but I mean, he was a star level player.
Yeah,
It's Yeah, I hate to say it this way. This is one of these series, and I'm not saying this to be an ass, but with the Carolina fans, they're passionate. Devils fans can be passionate.
when they fill the building.
Oh
Sorry.
Jesus, you hate the Devils. That's the funny part about that. It's a boring series in some sense because Jack Hughes is out. He's
Yeah,
getting shoulder surgery, so he's not going to be in this series. And then with Carolina, I mean, Sebastian Aho is the leading point scorer. Svechnikov has had a down year. They have some decent depth in Carolina, but it's kind of like, it's nothing really crazy. Both goaltenders have been mediocre in Carolina.
yeah,
Their decor is their strength. I'll give them that. Their decor is definitely the strength in Carolina, as it
yeah,
has been for the last like 5 years or so. And for the Devils, it's you're missing Jack Hughes, and you're having kind of meh production by some of your forwards. Defense is okay, and then the goaltending, like Markstrom, in my personal opinion, really hasn't like lived up to that billing. You know,
yeah.
he's been okay. I'm not saying he's been a travesty, but when you got him, you're like, okay, like that's a guy you envision hopefully getting you over the hump. And injuries have definitely impacted that team defensively. Just both teams, like I feel like should be better. You know,
Yeah.
and I think that's why it's kind of like to me, it's hard for me. Like, it's like because whoever comes out of this series, I think it's very difficult for them to win the next one, unless
Oh,
like let's say
absolutely.
unless Carolina or New Jersey comes out here, starts dropping 50 bombs, like something crazy, like oh shit, like maybe change my mind in that respect. But I think Carolina's going to win this in like 5-6 games.
Yeah, I'm in agreement.
And I'm not even a big fan of the goaltending in Carolina.
No, and I actually wouldn't be surprised if it went the other way in like 6 games. Just it's the melatonin series. It's the narcolepsy series.
The
It's
Z-Quill
just,
series.
yeah. It's if you could come up with a series that had less juice, I'd be shocked.
Well, because that storyline is kind of boring over there, let's go to the next one. We're going to go to the Western Conference here, and Winnipeg Jets against the St. Louis Blues. Now, St. Louis was red hot
Yeah,
at the end of this season. They were on an absolute friggin' heater, right?
yeah. It was
And
ridiculous.
and then,
It reminded me of 19.
dude,
How
yeah. Go ahead, sorry.
No, it just reminded me of the heater they went on in 19 that lasted like it seemed like for never ended.
Yeah, and then they ended up winning that cup that year.
Yeah,
Yeah, I lived it. I experienced it. I was there
yeah.
at Game 7. I felt the pain
Ugh.
live. But no, it's how do I put this? It's gonna be very interesting to see how the Jets can handle this. Like in every factor, the Jets should cream the Blues. They should. They have better offense,
Mm-hmm.
better defense, better goaltending.
Yeah.
The Blues just got that dog in them, and
And I will not to cut you off,
mhm,
but in the 2 games I watched them play, the last 2 games I watched them play against the Avs, where Winnipeg's going to have trouble is getting through the neutral zone.
yeah,
Their neutral zone play, Holy smokes! It was like mid '90s, late '90s Devils. Just, it was so tough, and we have some really talented dudes on the Avs,
Yeah.
and they just couldn't get through they couldn't get through the middle zone, and it just would baffle me. I'm like, how are they doing this? And I think Jim Montgomery has installed his system in there, and it fits that team to a T. I'm not going to say a coach will have as big an outcome on a series as Montgomery will here.
It's. I'm gonna sound like an absolute hater. I hope they get I hope they get swept because Montgomery. I think there was some tampering there. I'm gonna let some bias slip in there. There was some tampering there. You wanted to go back on whatever, but listen. Wasn't a big fan of how that went down in Boston. Is what it is. I think, quite frankly, the Blues. The only thing they got going for them is that hot streak. They got a solid decor. So I'm not gonna act like they're bad by any stretch of the imagination. They're not. They're good. But I just don't know if they have the horses to keep up with Winnipeg. But they have the goaltender, and that's the thing with Binnington, right? Like he could be a head case. He can have some really lit in some goals. It's like, what are you doing?
Yep.
But then if he just gets in that mode where he just gets locked in, he becomes almost unbeatable.
The American Varlamov.
The Canadian.
Well, whatever, him playing for American team, but yeah, still.
But and that's it's going to be a rematch of the Four Nations goaltender battle.
Yeah.
And I would say for the Jets, they have Ehlers, they have Kyle Connor, Morrissey on the back end. They have a lot of talent, and Connor Hellebuck in net, the best goalie on the planet right now.
And they're hella deep.
They are. I think, because I asked actually, you go first. Who do you think's winning this series? How many games?
St. Louis in 7.
Shit. Yep. Oh shit! You're going with I respect it, bro.
St. Louis in 7.
I think
because
Winnipeg. Yeah, go ahead.
No. Well, no. I'm just going back to what happened to Winnipeg last year. They won that first game, lost the second one, got rattled, and then just completely spit the bit. Now, I'm not saying that same thing is going to happen again, but it's not completely out of the realm of plausibility because I don't know what happened to Winnipeg last year because they were, once again, one of the best teams in the West.
Yeah.
And then they got boat raced in 5 games.
I picked the Winnipeg Jets to win, but I will say this. If they lose this series, this is a black mark on both the Jets and Hellebuck's legacy. Because Hellebuck had a bad series last year. Let's not sugarcoat it.
No.
And Hellebuck's he's way better than that. He's a technically sound goalie. When Hellebuck makes saves look extremely routine, that's when you know he's locked in. Because when he's not moving too much and he's just positionally sound, that's when you know he's in the zone.
Yeah.
I believe the Jets will win this series in, I think I put 5. I could see 5 or 6. It should be 5. They are a far more talented team.
No, they are.
But the Jets do have that monkey on their back. Can they actually get out of the first round? Can they do something in the playoffs? Because they haven't really been able to do that.
Nope.
And that is a genuine concern. I'm expecting this year's finally the freaking year, right?
I don't know. I just think that the Jets have kind of had also bad luck because they ran into an Avs team that just all of a sudden decided to kick it into another gear last year.
Yeah.
And blew them out of the water. They just keep getting these first round matchups that just vex them.
Yeah. I mean, it's gonna be
a great series. It's the one of the outside of the one that has my most interest. It's between that and the Toronto Ottawa series. This is the other series that really interests me the most.
Yeah.
Because I also want St. Louis to win because hopefully if the Avs beat Dallas, then we can kick the shit out of Binnington again and make him all crazy. Because I hate Binnington.
I think the Jets will finally pull it off. I firmly believe in that.
I have a hard time buying it. But that's just me. I mean, I am an idiot, and who knows? I mean, I
But you
can
could be
watch.
right. You
I
could be
could be
right.
right. I mean, Winnipeg. Would I be shocked if Winnipeg swept them? Not at all.
No,
But something tells me I don't think that's going to happen.
I mean,
I
I hope
have a
for.
feeling that they're going to drop one of the first two in Winnipeg,
Hmm.
and all that's going to do is give St. Louis that little bit of hope, little bit of extra juice, and that's the worst possible thing for Winnipeg.
Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong in that regard. No, I mean that would be uh, once you let doubt start to creep in, that
Hmm.
could be the death bell for the Jets, and that would be probably the biggest weakness there.
Yeah,
So two more series to go here. We got the Vegas Golden Knights against the Minnesota Wild.
I am going to defer to your earlier Western Conference preview and just be like, if Minnesota might sneak one, but it's gonna be just Minnesota's gonna get their cheeks clapped.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's yeah, I don't see the series being that good. I
No,
think it's going to be like 5 games, and
this is the melatonin series of the Western Conference.
yeah, and it's like Wild fans might not like me for that, but it's just your team's meh. Your goaltender,
Yeah,
he's solid enough, but decor. I think Brock Faber is a little, yeah, he's solid. I think he's a promising guy. Don't get me wrong,
yeah,
but I don't think they're there yet.
no,
And Vegas is a team that could come out of the Western Conference. Like the way they're built,
oh,
that's going to be difficult for the Wild to compete
absolutely.
with. You
Yeah,
know,
it's gonna be hard. I can see them stealing a game at home, maybe even a game away. Who knows?
yeah,
If Gustafson just decides to, absolutely go bonkers.
yeah, it's yeah. I don't see it. I mean,
No,
I just don't. I think it's going to be Jack Eichel's had a career year. Stones when he's on the ice and playing, he's really good.
not faking
So,
it.
jeez, I wouldn't go that far. I wouldn't go that far, but
Well, I
it's
just
hard.
hate
It's hard for
Vegas.
me really want to go into the nitty gritty with this series. I don't think the Wild have enough horses,
No.
and Gustafson's got to prove it to me in the playoffs. And who knows? Maybe he gets hot and he just goes like, "Whoa, like who are you?" But
Yeah.
um, I'm in the show me state. Missouri got to show me.
Yeah.
So, you want to go to the next one?
Oh, absolutely.
All right. So this is going to
You
be
know I do.
this is probably going to be the best series in my personal opinion in the West.
Oh, the sexiest series.
LA
Every.
Kings versus Edmonton Oilers. Go.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the other one.
Well, that's the last one.
No, we're missing one, brother.
Oh my
Missing my
God.
boys.
Jesus Christ.
That's all good. It's only like it's only like
Let's
9 a.m. on the East Coast right now.
yeah. Yeah, sure, it's 4:30. 4:30 in the morning I've been up to. Sorry, let's go with the Dallas Colorado one first.
We can
Right?
go with either one. It don't matter to me.
We'll go. No, let's go with
Whatever, brother.
Wow, I don't believe I skipped that. That is definitely the sleep deprivation hitting. Dallas Stars versus the Colorado Avalanche. Well, I already kind of ruined what I was going to say about the LA Kings and Oilers.
Well, let's do
Um,
that one then. We'll hit that then, since you already started it.
no, no, no. I already backtracked. I'm contractually obligated to go in order as much as I can.
Contractually obligated. Yeah, we don't want to upset the home office there, and
Yeah, I'm gonna get sued. But I mean, actually, really thinking about it though, with the Oilers injuries, actually, I could say this is probably the better series. Thinking about it, really, genuinely. Yeah, I think this. Yeah,
I
both will be good. Both will be good. But
I do believe. Let's just do Edmonton, LA. Fuck it. We've already
oh,
opened the
yeah,
door.
we already kind of messed it. We already messed it.
Yeah,
So Edmonton
it's
Oilers
gonna be great.
against
It's
the
probably
LA
the
Kings.
fourth best series for me. I actually think that Edmonton should be worried.
I agree.
Edmonton should be worried because they are. Fuck, the Kings have been tough.
Yeah, they have been. The Kings have been extremely good, and Darcy Kemper's been playing brilliant this year. Brilliant.
Yeah,
He's that guy. He's looking like that guy that helped the Avalanche win a Stanley Cup, and you know that
yeah,
very, very, very closely. He's looked really good. Kings defensively have always been stout. Byfield's coming into his own.
Yep.
Kopitar,
Still
Kempe,
great.
yeah, like Kopitar's still such a good player, great two-way center. Kempe's been had a great year. Drew Doughty can still do his thing on the back end. Gavrikov.
Hmm.
It's just if this is gonna be the year, like if it's gonna be any year, this will have to be the year the Kings actually beat the Oilers
Yeah,
because Oilers don't have a
absolutely.
Vander Kane. They have some players dinged up, and
The goaltending is always questionable.
the goaltending is dog shit. I'm
Oh,
not being
okay.
nice about that. Like the
Okay.
Oilers
Yeah.
goaltending is awful, terrible, basura,
Yeah.
trash, garbage. Should just put a shooter tutor in net and you have a better chance to have a fucking save made. I think Stuart Skinner is a terrible goaltender, and the only reason he's still there is because the Oilers can't find prospects. I don't know what it is. I would have just stole a goalie from the AHL somewhere, put him in a
Yeah.
potato sack, had him over my shoulder, brought him up. But anyways, I don't believe in the goaltending with the Oilers in any way, shape, or form. Did I let you know that I don't like Stuart Skinner?
Yeah.
But I think the Kings. The only reason the Oilers will have a chance in this series is because they have McDavid and Draisaitl.
Yeah. And
Like that's the
Bouchard and
only.
Hyman.
Yeah, well, Hyman's had a down year.
Hyman has had a down year, but yeah.
He's lost
Uh,
his ability just to hit up on the right stick and like score.
hit up on the right stick. So stupid. So stupid. This is why I love you, bro.
Dude, listen, like if he's playing NHL, he's that shitter you throw on the back door that just hits up, right? But shout out to Sergeant Rock. Anyways, but no, I'm playing with you.
We love you, brother.
But no, I think when it comes down to it, the Kings are the better team outside of the superstar level talent. Um, Lines 2 through 4, deep pairing, I think are just better in LA. And
Yeah.
I think that Kemper's a far better goaltender than that shooter tutor called Stuart Skinner. And the only reason it's gonna probably be competitive is because of McDavid and Draisaitl.
Yeah.
You know,
Their best hope is to catch Darcy Kemper off, try to light him up for 4 or 5, and just hope for the best. Otherwise,
yeah,
it's
it's
not good.
no, but it's just I think that's why I picked the Kings in 6. I think that's what I picked. I think they're just the better team,
Yeah.
and as I said in the video, and I'll stick with this: 2 players should not beat a whole hockey team. And if it does,
No.
it's like they can prove me wrong. Like fuck it, if they can prove me wrong, I'll buy a I'll buy a McDavid jersey on stream. I will.
I just make sure I'm there for that because I'm gonna giggle.
So like I'll do that. But I think the Kings have the situation here to be
I honestly
finally get over
think
the hump.
I think this could be a real wake up call for Edmonton because I have this sinking feeling that it is going to be something ridiculous like the Kings in 5.
Whoa, dude! If that happens, the Oilers will burn down their own city for warmth.
Yeah.
It's crazy. I
Yeah.
mean,
I think that it is going to be a shooting gallery.
it goes into an interesting conversation here, right? With the Oilers. Why can't they just find
A goalie.
more complementary pieces?
A goalie.
Like, think about it, right? Now, I will say this as a Bruins fan, right? I watched the P Bruins, the Providence Bruins. If I was the Oilers, because they're most likely going to keep Michael DiPietro for the Bruins, I would be calling Brandon Bussey immediately and being like, hey, like,
Yeah.
come into camp next year because you're good and you're probably better than both of our goalies on this roster. I just don't understand why the Oilers can't find an adequate goaltender.
I it's going on almost half dozen years now.
Yeah, and it's like some of it you can blame the defensive structure. Like, sure, the defense isn't perfect, but it's just there's got to be someone better than Stuart Skinner, right?
There has to be. I mean, does he have pictures of the Oilers GM with a goat?
That's what I wonder. I mean, I truly wonder if something happened there, and it's because who is it? Holland's still the general manager, right? For the
Yeah,
Oilers. You know, I don't understand why you wouldn't be like, okay, like let me try to get some more talent in the building and try to get another goaltender that can push one of these guys. And like this is no like the Calvin Pickard story is cool. It's great that he was a career AHL guy, kind of found his role as a backup at the NHL level. Like that's a really cool story. I'll say that. But
I love picks.
you do love picks. You have a Pickard jersey,
Yeah,
but I think that he's a backup at best. And
yeah,
they definitely need a goaltender. Pickard's had better numbers than Skinner this year.
yeah.
So it's
I
not
mean,
good.
are they going to start Skinner?
Probably because he's quote unquote brought them to a Stanley Cup final last year, or I should say dragged.
Yeah.
Like
No, you know what? Laugh all you want. You're not wrong.
dragged
He
to a Stanley Cup
dragged
final.
them. Oh my God.
So I
It's like
mean,
watching paint dry.
agreed. So we both think that the Kings are going to win that one.
I'm going to say probably in 5, unless, McDavid and Draisaitl just start scoring goals like, a fat kid wants cake.
Yeah,
Um, I think the best that Edmonton can really hope for is a 6 game, taking
yeah,
it to 6 and losing.
yeah. No, I mean, I think we both agree on that. I think it will go to 6 because I think the star power will get them a couple games, but yeah, I mean, I just
They just we're gonna watch the slow death of the Edmonton Oilers
100%.
if it goes to
100%.
6 games.
All right, let's get into the last series here. That one I got of the Dallas
Yes,
Stars
please,
versus the Colorado Avalanche. Now,
dude.
for troll
I am so
transparency,
juiced.
Chief is an Avalanche fan, so we're giving that. Avalanche are my second favorite team because when the Bruins traded Ray Bork when I was a kid, I followed the Avalanche. That's a true story. So I do have an affinity for the Avalanche. And if I was to say a third team, my third team probably would be the Florida Panthers, just being blunt. Um, this is going to be an extremely interesting series for a few reasons. When you really think about it, right? The Stars are kind of in a shitty spot.
Yeah,
Jason Robertson, he's going to be week to week. And mind you, they have a lot of depth. So, yeah, they could lose a forward like Robertson. But then Miro, Heiskanen, you lose him, or Heiskanen, you lose him on the back end, their best defenseman. And Thomas Harley's had a great year. I just think those losses will affect the outcome of this series. And
oh, indeed.
I like the addition of getting Rantanen. Like, Rantanen's going to have all the juice in the world to kind of, like, break Avalanche fans' hearts.
Yep.
You brought in Granlund from the San Jose Sharks, who was like one of their best players, and he's been terrific for the Stars. You have Jake Ottinger and net, but I do think those injuries will affect them ultimately because the Colorado Avalanche did a very good job bringing in talent at the trade deadline. They brought in Charlie Coyle, they brought in Brock Nelson.
Yeah, kind of coil.
They've added more depth, and the biggest trade of the season, in my personal opinion, was trading for Mackenzie Blackwood.
Yeah.
And bringing in a steady goaltender when Georgiev didn't understand that, you needed to save pucks at the NHL level to keep playing at the NHL level.
Yeah. I'm going to disagree with you on the trades. I think the Natchez trade.
Oh, sorry, Natchez too. Sorry.
And then also getting Brock Nelson. Even though I have to tell you something funny.
Mm-hmm.
I had a buddy of mine tell me Brock Nelson looks like a farmer during the Great Depression.
That's great. He does. He does. Like, he can have one of those hats on and stuff. Yeah.
Standing out in front
With
of
a
like some
pitchfork.
sod house in Oklahoma with just like dust blowing behind him. Sorry.
It's so it makes it interesting because I think if Dallas had everybody, they're probably gonna win. They'd probably win a series.
We'll agree to disagree.
Because I think if they had Robertson and they had Heiskanen and it would be, it would most. it'd be a tight series. So maybe I'm not gonna say like definitely, but it would help the Stars' odds. And then in
Yeah.
comparison with how shall I put this, the Avalanche, you have Natchez, you have McKinnon. McKinnon's one of the better player, one of the best
Hmm.
players in all the world, and Drouin. I mean, Drouin's been really good for them since
Yeah.
he's a good complementary piece to have. Charlie Coyle, my good friend Chief's favorite hockey player,
Yeah.
and Brock Nelson. I like the depth they've added. And
Yeah.
Nichushkin when he's on the ice and stays. It's weird with the Avalanche. I'm just hoping Nichushkin can stay on the friggin' ice.
Yeah. Well,
Like
I
that's the
think
big
I think
thing.
he's kind of pulled his head out of his ass. I think things have gotten improved in his situation. You're missing another guy who might be the sneakiest guy on the team is Artie Lehkonen.
Lehkonen, yeah, it's actually funny because I put a few of his highlights in the video. Um, yeah, Lehkonen's also a great player.
Yeah.
It's just they have so much talent with the Avalanche, and it is 4:45 in the morning here, so my mind's necessarily not firing on all cylinders.
No, you're good,
But
brother.
the the Avalanche have a ton of talent. I would say their bottom pairing defensemen aren't the greatest.
No.
That could be a weakness that other teams expose because how much can you rely on Kale McCarr and Taves to really carry the load defensively? Like they're gonna have to get off the ice at some point,
Yeah.
right?
Well, I'm gonna say as much as I've never been too huge of a fan of his, I think he's going to do better than people think. Is Sam Gerard?
Mm,
I I like he's his points may not have reflected it, but he has definitely played better this year. Just intangible things, moving the puck, being defensively aware. Uh, just liked a lot about his game this year.
I mean, I think.
Um, the only
Oh,
thing that hurts is no Josh. I don't know when we're getting Josh Manson back, who he's built for the fucking playoffs.
yeah,
And then getting Lindgren, I thought helped us also tremendously.
yeah. I mean, I think,
But
I think, I
they're
think
both hurt.
competent. Like when I last checked, I think Lindgren's actually good to go. When I
Okay,
checked on Puckpedia,
I checked a day or two ago, and they were unsure.
yeah. So I don't know if that's just
But
incorrect. So we'll see.
see that second pairing, you get Josh Manson and Lindgren together. That's a lot of grit on your second line.
100%.
A lot of
100%.
grit.
100%.
And I would have rather had Bo Byram, but that didn't work out.
Yeah.
And Charlie Lindgren, he's the type of dude that is just gritty, built for the fucking playoffs.
Yeah.
Built for it.
It's the biggest storyline, and I think in this series is Landeskog, right?
Yeah. Oh, so last week I was following the game on my phone. I did not find out about this till Saturday morning. So the Colorado Eagles last week set this record, the HL record for streams of a game. Take a guess how many?
50,000.
140,000.
Holy shnikes!
Yeah, they were
That's a lot.
chanting. So he didn't get on the score sheet. He got 2 minutes in the box. That entire arena was chanting his name when he got two minutes for like a hook and goal.
Dude,
I
I love
I
that.
oh, I mean, and he's fantastic. I just love that dude to death. I mean, the captain that every team should have.
Yeah.
Um, and then he scored the game tying goal to send it to overtime on Saturday night, and that place, I was listening to the game on a stream, and I could not hear the announcers. And it's an AHL barn.
Yeah.
So I am hoping and praying. I actually hope. Now this might tick off some of my fellow Avs fans, but I think you save them till you get back to Denver.
No, I think that makes sense. I think you also got to give him some time too.
Yeah,
Like it's, I think it's great though. It's a great story. I think considering he's been out of hockey for what, 3 years? I
Something
mean,
like a. He said because they actually have the they have a documentary. It's like a 6 or 7 part documentary they're showing on TNT. And
it's
he said
crazy.
something like over 1,000 days since he's played an NHL game.
That's crazy.
That's just
Yeah,
ridiculous.
it shows his dedication to the game.
Yeah.
I mean, and I agree with not sure on this. Great culture in Colorado. Keeping him as captain for 3 years was awesome.
Hell
Uh,
yes.
you know, you know, I
I mean,
100% agree with that.
I think with Heiskanen and Robertson, it's Avs in 7. Without them, I'm gonna say Avs in 6.
I think I'm similar. I picked the Avalanche to win in 7. I think it's going to be a hell of a series.
Oh, it's gonna be a great series.
Yeah,
A
it's
lot
going
of
to be great.
juice.
A
A
lot
lot
of
of
juice.
juice in that series.
So we're wrapping up here in probably about an hour.
Oh, real quick. So that hockey knockout pool I had. Did you see the clip of PK Subban just completely pissing off Horseface and Stephen A?
Yeah.
So one of my hockey pool team's name is Ovi is LeBron's daddy.
You know, let's actually talk about that. Let's talk about that real quick, because because what was the conversation like?
They were trying to say that Ovechkin's breaking Gretzky's record wasn't as great as LeBron breaking uh, the scoring record.
So, screw it. I'll use this for a clip. Anyone that thinks that LeBron's scoring record is greater than Ovechkin's like feat of scoring the most goals in NHL history is smoking crack.
Amen.
It's a ridiculous statement. I'm not saying this bias as like a hockey fan. I'm just being genuine because I watch all sports. LeBron benefits from playing in an era where they're not really aggressive. They don't play heavy
Nope.
defense anymore. And the longevity, I'll give it to him, right? Great athlete, takes care of himself, takes
Yeah,
way
yeah.
better care of himself than I do, right? But you're not getting hit hard
No.
every night. You're
No.
not getting physically assaulted every night. You're not getting punched in the face. If LeBron got punched in the face, he's turtling and crying.
Yeah.
Like there is
Looking like
no
looking
Go
like
ahead.
one of those European soccer players, just like he'd been hit by a truck.
Yeah. I mean, to me, it's a silly conversation to have, and it's
Mm-hmm.
only casuals that don't like only watch basketball that would ever say that, because you know how hard it is to play that long in the NHL. You know how many
Mm-hmm.
guys' careers get ended shortly because of the physical injuries. And sure, you get injured in basketball, but it's not to the same quality and to the same
Mm-mm.
physicality of a game like the game of hockey.
No. Furthermore, PK Subban brought up that he's missed something in his 19, 20 years in the league. He's missed less than 40 games.
Which
That's
is crazy.
ridiculous. That is absolutely mind-boggling to me. And then you add on top of that he's third all time in hits.
Yeah.
He's third all time in hits. That means
It-
he's not shying away from anything. He's not hiding behind somebody else.
no.
He's going out there and laying the lumber.
And that's the thing. And he's doing it as a player that has constantly been targeted throughout his career.
Yeah.
Someone that everyone's like, okay, let's get a big physical body, like let's hit him. Like Ovechkin's durability is phenomenal. It really is. I mean,
It's
it's just something you don't see.
no, and I doubt that we'll see anything like that. We'll see. Probably not in my lifetime. See somebody break the scoring record, break the all-time goals record. Probably not see it in my lifetime. But if we do, I don't believe it'll be somebody that is that physical.
No, no. It will be probably similar to like let's just call it what it is, right? Wayne Gretzky, amazing, one of the GOAT of hockey players, right? But he wasn't laying the wood. He wasn't beating
No,
the people up. Like he was protecting.
he was hiding. He was hiding
Yeah.
behind Book of Boom and Messier.
Yeah. So it's great like great athlete, phenomenal player, one of the best players in NHL history, or the best player in NHL history. But
And a
as for
class
like
dude.
and an amazing class, dude. The one thing I hate with these ESPN talking shows is all they watch is like basketball and football.
Yeah,
You can't you like
because what Stephen A. had said up until like what a year or two ago, he'd never seen a hockey game. Shut up,
exactly like it's
dude. Stephen A. Smith is just he's like the Nickelback of these talking hairdos on ESPN. Because it's like him and old Horseface. He was the tight end for the Broncos. I can't even think of his name. Is how irrelevant it is. Oh, Sterling, not Sterling Sharp.
oh, Shannon Sharp. Oh,
Shannon
that's
Sharp.
what you meant with. Oh my god, dude! I'm gonna get in a fucking like. I didn't even realize that's who you were talking. I thought you were talking
Yeah,
about someone else on the panel.
No, Horseface.
Oh, jeez.
God, I want to give him some oats. That dude, I'm like, shut up, dude. You're not even as good as your brother. Like, whatever. You caught like a touchdown from Elway and you got a ring. Whoop-de-doo. Shut up. Dude, you are a screen door on a submarine worthless. You and Stephen A. Smith are hoovering each other about LeBron. Shut the fuck up. Shut up.
I think you want to feed him oats. What the fuck?
I do. I want to give him some warmer, make sure he's healthy.
Listen, I will say, Shannon Sharp, I do wonder if he's, given fellatio to LeBron because the amount of, on his knees performance I've seen with that.
Yeah.
It's why I get tired of like certain talking heads and this is going off topic.
I can't watch those two.
Because it's like they like come with a genuine opinion, come with an actual thought, like come with, don't just have your guy and never talk about any of the negatives. That just gets old to me.
Well, yeah. And ESPN, all they do is talk about is basketball, football, and baseball. Hockey's just kind of like the sidecar.
Really, they don't even talk about baseball. It's just mainly baseball and football. That's it.
Yeah,
and it gets ratings.
Basketball, football.
Yeah, I mean, that's it. So,
yeah, and to have those two I mean, I wanted to see them bring up. I watched that whole thing. I watched it a three times, and not once do they bring up anything relevant about the sport of hockey, like they know.
Because they don't know. They don't know. They genuinely have never watched the sport. They don't even know they couldn't. If you asked them to name 5 players, they probably couldn't name like 5.
No,
they could probably name 3.
They could probably give you Ovechkin, Gretzky, and Crosby. Those are the 3 they're going to give you.
Yeah.
And it was, and the whole part was, the funniest part was, so when PK brought up like LeBron not being the GOAT, but Kobe and MJ, and watching because Stephen A. Smith looks like a fucking frog. Let's be real, kids. He looks like this little yappy frog, and then he's got Horseface over there hoovering him as well. And when he said Kobe and when PK said Kobe and LeBron, Kobe and MJ were the GOATs, and it was just like all of a sudden, it was like fucking he shot fucking Stephen A. Smith's dog. Like what? I'm like, dude, he's actually knows something about the sport. When you don't know nothing about the other sport, you're trying to have a debate with.
Yeah, I mean, Stephen A. has gone out and said that MJ is the GOAT. But yeah, I mean, Shannon, I mean, I think he believes LeBron's the greatest of all time, which is silly, but whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think the durability of hockey players is just different, and I think
it's a different game, dude. It's way more physical.
100%. But I'm starting to lose a little bit of juice here, my friend.
Not a problem. I'm all fired up now. Thanks. I'm gonna not be able to go to bed.
I'm gonna use that as a clip
tea
for
time
sure.
at 10:30.
10 time, dude. I got sleep time at 10, like in 10 minutes. But hey, guys, we'll try to come back with the No Agenda Hockey podcast sooner rather than later.
Yeah.
I work a week in a week. I currently have another podcast I started with another YouTube channel called The Puck Blockers. Make sure to check that out as well.
I'll check that out.
But me and Chief, we're going to try to be a little bit more reliable with the uploads. We'd like to at least do a video per week, and then maybe some segments. If there's just some short time, we can talk for 20 minutes or so. But
yeah, our half hour turns into like an hour and 15 minutes because we're idiots.
Every time, actually.
Every time. We're only going to do 30 minutes. Yeah, not.
So if you are watching at this point, we appreciate you drop a like, you can comment, and if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. It helps out the channel immensely in the algorithm. I am Captain Paul. Over there is Chief, and
over here.
Over there.
Over here.
Over there.
over. Dude, we gotta go. We just gotta go, dude. We could do that for like 10 minutes. Over there, over here, over there, over here. And
Well,
meanwhile, everybody's just like bailing off like it's the fucking Titanic. They're just jumping off the ship.
well, we'll see you in the next one.
In the next one, most definitely.